Good afternoon, folks. Welcome back to the channel. So yesterday I recorded the video on the Fishhawk Lithium series install on my Hobie PA14, and got me thinking. I talked a little bit about my Downrigger, and I thought I'd go ahead and show you how I went ahead and cut that down. I've never had one of these apart. Tried it out last year. Works great, but the arm was so long, I was reaching so far outside the kayak, it was rather uncomfortable, especially in water was a bit choppy. So as you can see here, I've got it mostly disassembled. We'll go ahead and just slide this off and show you. This is the piece that I cut out to shorten it. It's about 8 inches long is how much I shortened it. The only thing left to disassemble here, as soon as I find some tools, this Phillips screw here, and then on the bottom they have that block and the nut. All you have to do is unscrew that, and of course we're going to struggle here that the camera's on. Of course, I don't have enough hands here with running the camera. All right, there we go. So that simply slides out. And as you can see on the piece I cut off, there's your 2 holes. Obviously that was together like that. Simply cut that with a Sawzall, filed it up nice and clean, got rid of all the burrs. Transferred the distance of the holes from the cutoff piece and drill those straight through. Just have to make sure you're centered up. That's a 3/16 drill bit. As far as the reassembly, we'll go through the whole reassembly. It took me just a couple of minutes to figure this all out, having never had one apart. And of course we're losing pieces. Now this block is tapered, so you have to match that up with the taper on the post. And then if we can get everything lined up, there we go. And just run that down good and snug. And so I'm not sitting here holding stuff, go ahead and reinsert this in the base. Now all the other stuff I've taken apart, I was careful to lay out in order that it came off, just to make sure I got everything back on in the correct order. First is the lower clutch plate that has a couple of indents or knobs that match the indents on the base. Next is your clutch handle that simply sets down on. Then this square metal plate, what I have found, that sits into this square recess in the actual rigger wheel. So I just hold that in there and drop that down over the stud. We have a problem. Next is this first nut that has a washer tack to it. And of course, because I'm on camera, I'm doing something wrong with this today. What did we do wrong? Let's try this again. There we go. Yep, that's better. Alright, so back to this. Run that all the way down. Now this, just from a little trial and error, is the critical step to get the proper tension that your clutch fully engages and fully disengages. It actually doesn't have to be very tight for everything to operate correctly. There we go. With the clutch in the engage position then, there's a second nut. And that'll jam the first nut so that it can't loosen or tighten in use. So just a couple of 9/16 wrenches to jam that tight so they can't back off. Let's make sure everything's good. Yep, we're good. Next to go on is the counter. That just sets down in. And then one last nut to hold that in place. And there we go. This one doesn't have to be overly tight. It's they've got some sort of locking nut on here. It doesn't actually turn by hand very easy. There we go. Locked up. And then the cover just simply snaps back on. Now, along with this, I wanted to talk about the mount I'm using. It's a product from Snipe Air Industries. I run their Super Rudder XL on my Outback, their seat riser kit for the Outback, H-rail riser kit for the Outback. It's all really good quality stuff. So we'll go ahead and pop this rigger back off the base. Set that aside for a moment. So here is the mount. Very simple operation. It takes pretty good effort. And slide that back. And it's simply right over the H-rail. Now these are set up. They're already drilled for the Scotty bases, which is awesome. Installs just as easy as it comes off. Simply drop down over the H-rail. Yeah, and of course I make that mistake every time. Slide that guy back over. And lock in place. One other side benefit that this mount has, and of course I can't remember what they call this mount, they do make a similar setup for the Outbacks. Obviously it's a little different. It goes ahead of the seat, which on an Outback is fine. One side benefit, as I was saying, it really stiffens these H-rails. I run pretty good size rod holder extensions, and without this, the H-rail actually does twist a little bit. I'm considering purchasing a second one of these for the other side, just for the point of stiffening the H-rail. Could mount some other rod holders or miscellaneous stuff on it, being it's just a flat surface, you could really do whatever you want. But anyway, that's the rigger modifications I made. One last thing to note on the rigger modification, this line guide is normally just pointed out to the side. With shortening up this arm, it with leaving it out to the side, it causes the downrigger cable, which I'm actually running 100, I believe it's 100-pound braid rather than the cable because it hums so bad. It was causing it to all wind up on the lower portion of this. It's just these two Phillips screws here loosened up. You can rotate this up. I rotated it so it tries to center the braid on my drum. Probably not a huge deal. I was just worried about braid getting crossed under on a wrap and having issues. So there it is, folks. Hope you find that helpful. Hope you enjoyed watching, and stay tuned. Once we get into the midsummer season, got a lot more projects going between the fish hawk, the downrigger, some stuff with torpedo divers that I think a lot of folks are going to find helpful. Thanks for watching.